Hey, what's up everyone? So I'm back with my last pod review for John Ford at Ford's Fiery Foods and Plants. Pretty excited. This is something interesting. I've never really seen something like this before. This is called the Bhut Rust, or that's what it was labeled as. A little bit smaller than most of the Bhuts that I've seen and not really as gnarly. There's something up with the calyx. It just looks a little bit too pretty for most of the Bhuts that I've already seen. But I don't know. I'm always into something new and something interesting. So let's I've been surprised many times in the past, so let's cut this thing open. It's got some of that Bhut smell, floralness. And it's got the ribs, typical of a Bhut, where they run vertically as opposed to having a high seed pocket or something like a 7-pot where they're, the seeds are kind of tucked up towards the top. These run vertically. It's got some oil droplets in there. I mean, it's got a Bhut smell to it, not overpoweringly floral, but it's got some of that. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely got some oil droplets. It's nice and warm on the tongue. So let me take a few pictures and I'll be right back. Alright, so there's a few seeds in there, like 6 or 7 or so. Not a ton of placenta, but there's some oil droplets. So I'll give this thing a go. The Bhut Rust from Ford's. Got a nice little kick at the beginning. Pretty fruity, which is interesting because it's billed as the Bhut. Still pretty good flavor, fruity wise. Pretty good heat. Definitely got a nice little bite. I don't know if it's building. I don't really know too much to what to expect. John said it builds to about a Fatalii or Ritzavina level. But it's definitely, I mean, it's warm. Like I wouldn't discount it. I don't think it's gonna get up there into those. Oh my God, I need to like staple myself down to something. So I'm gonna hurt. Heat level, but it's really attacking the tongue, back of the lips. I always get the freaking lips. Maybe because I talk when I chew. It's a terrible habit to have. Eyes are watering just a little bit. Nose is running just a little bit. Heat's definitely concentrated underneath the tongue. I can feel a little bit in the back of the throat, but nothing too heavy. It's continuing to build up just a little bit more. And I would say accurate, somewhere in the Habanero Fatalii range. But it does have a good flavor. Nice and warm on the tongue. Let's see if this how this thing takes. About 220 in, and I'd say the heat's somewhere in the plateau range right now, so leveling off. But it definitely, when I say leveling off, it doesn't mean that it's peaking and teetering off. I think it's just kind of just maintaining that heat, which I've noticed in some of the less than supers. You may not get that super heat, but you get a nice little burn to it, and it'll stay with you for a good 5 or 10 minutes, which I'm guessing this is going to do. But it's enough to function. I could, to put it into perspective, I could probably eat this and still maintain enough composure to cook on the grill or something like that. So if I had a couple buddies around and they weren't into the heat, passed one of these around to each one of them, I could probably still maintain grilling a little bit and not have to like sit down and really think about things. I mean, it's still got the throat, and I think more so on the lips right now. But the lips are usually attacked. I would say they're probably the most vulnerable to a consistently long burn. But I can definitely feel it in the throat. I still got the flavor, which is good, and it's interesting because it's not really that boot floralness that you come to know, and some people hate it, and some people love it. A boot jalokia is very, very, I'd say specific. It's almost like an IPA. You either love it or you don't. People who don't love it tend to still grow it because it's a good thing. Usually they're pretty prolific, and you can use it in a little more applications where you dull down that floralness, such as powders, and even sometimes in a roasted or smoked application for like sauce. Oh man, so they really still got that tingling on the throat. I don't really mind them, so I'm kind of in the middle, which is counter to exactly what I just said. But if I would have to go one way or the other, I would continue to grow them, and I would just use them in those off applications and powders and sauces. This actually would be a little bit more widespread. It is a smaller pod, somewhere in the neighborhood of 1.5 to 2 inches. From what John says, is pretty prolific, 150 to 250 pods per plant. And in my opinion, anything over that 100 mark is something to write home about. It's a really good number. Oh man, it's really still got that burn. See what I tell you? It's not gonna peak. It's just gonna plateau it there and really just still attack the throat and the lips. Eyes a little bit, but it's something that let the osprey go by. It's something that you can definitely use. You just gotta put the work in. Similar to the Marupi or similar to the Clavo. Yeah. This one's definitely hotter than those two. Definitely hotter than the Marupi, but a tick above the Clavo. So if you were going to grow, in my opinion, if you were going to grow one or the other, the Clavo's got a little more production, but this one's got a little more heat, so you're going to pick which one you really want. I think this is about the same size. God, like really freaking hit the back of the throat. But it does have a little bit more heat, a little more bite. Pretty good. Let me see what my time's at. I can see this as a possible another stuffer pepper, something that would be good in a box, and it would also be pretty good like pickled if you bruise them, throw them in a jar, or pepper vinegar. So just some vinegar. I know somebody who uses like the dill seasoning packets. That will work too. But overall, I mean, I like it a lot. I mean, I think it's a pretty good pepper. It's got a pretty good flavor to it. Produces pretty well from what I'm told. And it's got that heat that just kind of sticks with you, but it's not overpowering, blowing your head off. You need to really take time out and collect your thoughts. So, I also wanted to take 1 second on this video and talk about how to properly send peppers. For review, it's different than sending them just for somebody. Somebody who's gonna, the way you're gonna get them to last the longest is to do something like this. This is a great way. John sent these this way, and I know a couple other growers to do this. Really, really great way to do this. You take a regular Ziploc bag. You take a paper towel, and he sent 1 pod per bag. So he only used this. It's probably like a paper towel ripped up, and you just kind of put a couple drops of water on it, get it a little bit damp, and then what it'll do, it'll keep the pepper hydrated and it'll last longer. So this thing, when I bit into it, it really tasted, and I could tell the consistency of the pepper was just like I just pulled it off my plant. So a couple guys, I forget who I first saw this from. It's either like Steven or somebody else. I forget who the first person who did this for me, and then after that, that's how I send my peppers for review. If I'm sending a box out for somebody who's not going to eat them all fresh, he's just going to bust them down into powder or sauces. I just stick them in the box. But when I got this box from John, I was really excited because I knew these things would last longer. And I've had these in the fridge for 7 days tomorrow. So they got sent a week ago yesterday. So they got sent 8 days ago. And tomorrow will be 9 days from sent. And honestly, this pepper it felt like it was just picked yesterday. Still had a nice bite to it. Very, very good crunch. So I just wanted to take that minute and a half and tell you, if you're going to send peppers, specifically ones for review, this is the best way to do it. and they'll stay fresh for much longer. Stick them in the crisper. But overall, let me wrap this up. I think about like 8:29. Good pod. I'd say somewhere like tier 3 heat. Not nothing, to play with. But it's something that's really you can function pretty decently with. A lot of applications. Tier 2 flavor. It's got a really good fruity flavor, which is contrary to the Bhut. So it calls into question just a bit the lineage of how far Bhutness it goes back. Bhutness, that's coined. And from what I see, it's a tier 1 producer. 150 to 250 pods per plant is something that is definitely a desirable trait to have. So overall, it's a pretty good pepper. I would definitely recommend it. Check out John Ford at forestfirefoodandplants.com. I'll link to him below. I think he'll have seeds in the fall and plant sometime in March. This is a pretty good plant, or this is a pretty good pod. So I would definitely recommend if you're looking for some fillers or looking for something else that's not blow my head off super level or like your milds and down to the bottom. This is something to throw in that Fatalii to or Habanero to Fatalii range. So definitely good pod. Thanks, John. I enjoyed reviewing all the pods. So definitely. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them, and I'll see you guys next time.